Hello, so in this video, I wanted to create a specific video on how to create your own custom GPT for your business. So if you're not sure what a custom GPT is, essentially all it is really just an assistant that has context on whatever the topic is or whatever the subject is that you want it to help you with. It understands more of that specific context so you don't have to explain yourself over and over again. And in terms of how this would compare to using the regular ChatGPT versus creating your own custom one, that the difference is really that you don't have to explain things over and over and over again and always give it context every single time. So if you create your own custom GPT, it actually gives you the opportunity where you can just go into this. You've created your own assistant. You just click on it like you would in, I'll show you in a second. And then essentially it understands the context already, but then it reduces the amount of context you need to actually give it so that it gives you more of the aligned responses with what you're looking for. Okay, so some of the reasons you might want to create something like this is it gives you more specific responses that's related to your business or whatever the scenario is that you want, the processes or the needs that you have. It gives you more consistent and aligned outputs in alignment with your brand voice as well. So if you want to create something like that, it also saves time specifically because you don't have to explain the scenario, as I mentioned. It also, for like internal use as well, if you want to use this for like your business internally for staff, then you can actually train these GPTs on internal data from your business. And it allows you, essentially, again, it's going to save time. So it helps you increase really your productivity because you're not constantly having to provide context to it like you would do if you were using the regular ChatGPT. And the other side of this too is that you're also going to improve your client experiences as well. So in terms of external use, if you're able to have an assistant essentially that gives you better outputs than the ideas that come from that, the outputs specifically for what you need, then it's also going to help you in terms of creating better processes, creating better ideas, creating better content, creating better whatever it is that you need. And that is going to translate to, essentially you providing a better service, better experience for your clients, and just improved productivity overall. So let's get stuck into this one. So if you don't have a ChatGPT account already, then just go and sign up to it. You don't have to have a Plus account to do this. You can do this with a free account as well. At the current time of recording of this video, you don't actually have to have the paid version to create your own GPT or your own assistant. So this may potentially change, not entirely sure, but for the time being, I know you can do this on the free account. So assuming you're logged in, you want to obviously go to chatgpt.com, log in, and you'll get to the welcome page of ChatGPT, right? So, all right, cool. So assuming you're on the welcome page here, all you want to do, you can actually see up the top left here, I've actually created a few for myself already, but I believe you do need to go into the web version of this to create your own assistant. However, once you've done that, then you can start to create. So you're on the welcome page. What you want to do, you want to go to the top right here where you can see the profile image. So you click on that one and you'll see that there's a couple different options here. You're going to click on My GPTs, and then you'll see a list of if you haven't created any, then this is going to be blank, but you're going to see here, create a GPT. So you can see here, customize a version of GPT for a specific purpose. And this is where you're going to look for. So you can see I've created a couple here already that help me with different things in my business. So what you're going to do, you're going to click on Create a GPT. Okay. Now, this specific section here is where you configure your assistant. Okay. So you want to give it an icon first off. You can either upload it depending on what the purpose is for this. So say you want to create let's say an FAQ, right? So say in your business you want to create an FAQ specifically for your business, like a GPT or better yet, let's do a customer service agent. I think that's probably more valuable. So this could be for different questions, like say you get questions about different things and you struggle to answer certain questions, or there's certain things that you're just like, oh, how should I structure this, or what can I do with that? So let's just say you want to create a client or a customer service agent specifically for answering certain questions, okay? So let's just go here. We're going to go customer support agent. Just going to type that in, right? So customer support agent, right? You just give it a title just to help you identify this. And then you can use, you didn't see that just then, but you can use the DALL-E function here. So you can use DALL-E, that's OpenAI's inbuilt image generation model that you can just use that to create an icon for this GPT, so you don't have to upload a photo. But if you want to do that instead, or like an icon or something like that, you can do that as well. But you can also use that function. Okay, so a little description. What does this GPT do? So helps answer customer service questions. Okay, like that. Cool. Now, the instructions section of this, right? So that the system prompt, what you want it, in terms of the system prompt and what you want it to do, the instructions, this is going to be specifically for how it behaves when you're interacting with it. Okay, so it gives it context to essentially what should it know, how should it behave, what should it do, what should it avoid doing when it's answering questions or giving you responses. Okay. This is not necessarily all of its knowledge that you're going to give it. That'll be in the second section there. But this is just how you want it to behave, okay? So what is the role of this specific assistant? So this is going to be, you are an expert customer service agent. Your role is to answer questions about client or customer service inquiries. Oops. There we go. Cool. So that's some basic instructions. I'm not going to go into crazy depth about this, but if you, the more instructions and the more depth you give to this, the better the outputs and the better this thing will behave. You have a lot of room to play with here. So you can actually get, another cool thing you can do is you can actually get ChatGPT to create the instructions for this bot. Okay. So I'll give you an example of this. If I just refresh this, right? Let's just create a new chat. So, for example, you could come in here and you're on this window here for creating the customer service agent instructions. Let's say create system instructions for my customer service agent GPT. Okay, right? And then, so obviously for this one, you're going to have to give it initial context, but that's going to save you time when you put this into the instructions of the bot on the next step. Okay, so this is just an example. You don't have to use this particular section if you want to give it specific, specific instructions. Then you can adapt this stuff and you can add more context here, and you can also do that on the next section too, right? So here, it's just creating, see the responsibilities of that. What is its role definition? You're an AI-powered customer service agent, things like that. Look here, this is an extension of Zach's business, Elite Systems, and we're creating the best possible client service experience, right? And it's going to give you different things here, process flow, whatever it's going to be relevant to your business, right? So you just need to give it that context first, and then you can copy this stuff here and you can paste it into there. So for the example of this, because we're not going to go into crazy depth about that, then we're just going to copy this little example here. And then we'll just copy that here. Boom. So you copy that. So this, we kind of improve upon the instructions, right? So now you've got your instructions for the bot, and then we're going to close that. And then, as I said, you can adapt this stuff too. And if you've got, say, a conversation you've had with ChatGPT somewhere, this is a quick little pro tip. If you've had a conversation with ChatGPT somewhere where you're talking about your business or something that's relevant to this assistant that you want to create, a cool thing you can do is if you just go into that and say you've given it so much information about it already, you've been talking to the chat window for ages, and it understands lots of different information, then you can say, hey, I'm actually creating an assistant based on what you know about my business or based on what you know about this scenario. Can you create system instructions for an assistant that I can then put into the system instructions for my new assistant, right? And then it can, because it understands the previous context of that, so you don't have to explain it again. You can actually just go back into that conversation, ask the current chat to do that for you, and then it will create that, and you can copy and paste it in here, and it already has that relevant context. So that's something that I've done in the past too, so I don't have to give it context in a new chat. But if you don't have any of that stuff, I wanted to give you that option as well. Okay, so that's how you can do that. Now, conversation starters, this is literally just like a client asked me about, let's say, refunds on a program. How should I respond? Just as an example there, right? And then this shows up here as an example of something that you can use as a conversation starter, okay? So when you're actually opening up the window with this thing, you can just click on that and it already has the question there, right? So it's helping with that kind of thing. It can give you ideas on that. And you can train it again here on how to respond. Now, this is the really cool bit, okay? This is the really cool bit that I want to show you guys. Before I do go into that, I want to just raise that this probably will require some refinement, some testing, some tweaking, some refinement over time. And it might not be perfect on this like straight away, but if you just give it some time, then you'll be able to come back in here. You can tweak things about how you want it to respond. And over time, you'll end up having an assistant for your business that is really, really valuable in terms of its responses that it gives to you and your business. And that's very, very contextually relevant. Okay. So obviously, we're creating this one here just off the bat, like I'm literally doing this on the fly. So some of the stuff in here is not going to be perfect, and that's fine. This is probably going to be the same thing for you too, but when you just keeping that in mind, you can always come back to this and you can always change the instructions. You can also change the knowledge base of this so that you can refine this over time. So don't expect for it to be perfect from the start. This is just an example of how you can create something for your business that's contextually relevant. And then you can also test, tweak, and refine this over time. Okay. Now, next section, the knowledge base. This is the really cool bit, right? So say for this customer service agent, right? Just in this example, for your business, say you have a bunch of documents on, I don't know, it could be transcripts from calls, it could be knowledge from like standard operating procedures or just documents, lots of different stuff that you've got that could help to give this assistant context on how you want it to respond and what you want it to know, okay? So what you would do is this knowledge base, you can literally upload files. You can upload those things. You can upload transcripts. You can upload whatever it is that you want it to know where you've done something in relation to, in this example, a customer service, then you can upload that here and then it's going to draw from that information when it needs to, when it thinks it's relevant. And then it can also, again, further align its responses with the context that you want it to have. Okay, so you can just upload here. You could say here, actually, here's a perfect example. I recently created this make.com, which is just an automation platform I use for Elite Systems. And I use that for creating automations for clients. And I needed to give it context specifically that I could not fit into the instructions because that's a separate thing, right? I wanted to specifically to have knowledge on an entire database of instructionals, tutorials, lots of different things. So an example of this was I scraped the information from that website. I took all that information. As I said, you could use this from just transcripts that you've got from calls with clients, with whatever it is. But this example here was I wanted to create one for creating automations and ideas for that. And I wanted it to have the information on that platform specifically so it could answer questions and have up-to-date information on that. So I took all that information here and I put it into a text document. You could put it into a PDF, whatever it is. And then I uploaded that. So here, I'll just use one example, chunk one. So this literally here, as you can see, it's just information that's been taken from the website, right? Excuse me. And then you just upload that. Yeah, so once that's uploaded, that is then going to become the contents or the knowledge for the bot. So it's going to understand different scenarios. It's going to be able to draw from this information, and then it's going to be able to provide better responses, okay? Now, once that's done, so the capabilities here essentially is what type of functions do you want it to have? Should it be able to search the web? That's a really cool function. So I would enable that one for sure. You want it to be able to create images. So do the DALL-E image generation. That's a really, really cool function as well. So it can create contextually relevant photos for something, whatever you need to create that for, wherever it might be relevant for your business or for whatever you're doing. You can also, if you want it to do data analysis as well, so if you're uploading like, say, spreadsheets and you want it to be able to understand the data from that and then draw conclusions about something, then you could enable this function, and that will allow it to, when you upload that information, then it allows it to also read that data as well. Now, I probably wouldn't touch the rest of this stuff here, the actions here and any additional settings. I would probably just leave it at that, because otherwise it starts to get too complex. And as I said, in terms of creating assistants, this is the tip of the iceberg with things that you can do, but this is the simplest way that you can create a custom assistant for your business that has contextually relevant answers, okay? And that's what we're looking for, to save you time and to give you better responses, right? Now, once you're finished with that, you're gonna go up to the top right here and you're gonna go create. And then you just have to decide for yourself, is this only you who wants to access this? Do you want this to be anyone with the link? So if you want to share this with people in your team, also available on the GPT store for other people to use as well. So this will be a public assistant, right? So it's private only to you, private only to people with your link, or you want it to be able to go on the GPT store, and then you can share this with other people and other people can use it. So for this example, I'm just going to say anyone with the link. So once that's saved, sometimes it takes a second or two. Cool. Now, so that's saved. Check if there's any other ones here. That's pretty much everything. Amazing. So you can see here now, you're going to get a little message up the top here that the GPT has been published, and you can share this. Now, the other cool thing with this as well is, as I said before, that you may have to come back into this and tweak and update the bot, give it refinements, give it more information to different things. So if you need to come back into this, you can just make any adjustments that you need to. If you need to delete certain things or update new information, if you need to upload more knowledge to it or get rid of old knowledge, then you can just remove stuff and add things as you want to. And then all you do is just literally update it, and that's it. Okay. Now, you can share that with someone if you want to, but assuming that's all done, what's going to happen now is this is going to show up in your GPTs, right? So where this is going to show up, it's going to show up in here. You can also access it through my GPTs, but often it's just going to show up here because you've custom created it and it's pinned to the top here most of the time. Okay. So as you can see here, we've got customer support agent. You can literally just click on that and it's going to start a conversation with the new GPT that you've just created. So if you followed this through all the way to the end, hopefully you found this valuable, and I'd be keen to hear any feedback on this and how, if it's helped you as well. But let me know if you did find this valuable, and if you've got any questions on this, or if you'd like me to cover anything in further detail. But that's essentially how you can create a custom assistant for your business. Hopefully you found this one helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.